Hello there, welcome to this week's show. My name's Wayne, I am the Lone Headbanger. Thank you so much for tuning in on this rather soggy Wednesday afternoon. So, this week I don't have a particular subject in mind. I do have some lined up for future shows, but this week it's been a bit strange because there have been some changes in my personal circumstances which have kind of thrown things into disarray. I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit and how I've coped with it, and then maybe just give a couple of slithers of advice. So, without further ado, the main change would be is I'm back at work. I was called on Thursday to be informed that I'd be back at work on Monday. Just gone, and I had a little bit of a meltdown. Nothing to do with work itself, but work stress is one of those things that led me down my depressive path in the first place. So you can probably imagine such short notice. I mean, 4 days, to most people would be fine. But if someone who's struggling with their mental health, you can probably imagine it was a little bit of a shock to the system to discover that I'd got 3 days to prepare myself mentally to going back and going into the office and being retrained on everything. So that was a little bit of an uncomfortable few days. I couldn't focus on anything much. I actually on the Friday did decide to break my teetotal status, so I actually went and had a few drinks and went online on Facebook and talked to some people, and I actually had quite a good night and I had some fun, so that was good. I needed that. So now I'm back again though. I'm cutting the booze out again because I don't feel like I need it, so that's good. But yeah, the weekend itself was pretty much a write-off. Couldn't focus on anything, too much stressing, too much anxiety, as you'd probably guess from someone who hasn't worked for 6 months and was only back at work for maybe a month and a bit in the first place from being off over Christmas last year due to my ongoing mental health issues. So yeah, going back in, it was an absolute nightmare for me. Again, nothing to do with the work or the company, more what's going on up here, and overthinking, overreacting, and always imagining the worst. And so I had a minor panic attack upon entrance to the building. But once that was under control, I was shown where my new laptop, and some of the guys came up and said hi, and I had people being really nice to me, and I'm very thankful for that support because I really needed it when I walked in. Yesterday I went in and it was a very similar thing, retrained, trying to get my laptop up and running, which was a bit of a challenge because it decided to go through 500,000 updates as they tend to do, so I didn't actually do a lot of my proper work, which has disappointed me something rotten because I wanted to go in and try and do things. So I'm hoping that tomorrow I can actually go in and hit the ground running and see what I'm actually capable of. So I started both Monday and Tuesday on a red band and finished both on an orange. Now I've been having trouble with my sciatic nerve in my back, which has meant that I now get shooting pains all down my leg, which is lovely, and I also get random bends of pins and needles, and I've been told that I need to try and keep the leg moving in gentle exercise in order to help. So that's going to be a challenge, something I'm going to have to face at work. But I booked today off work because I've got a friend coming over, an old friend of mine, who does, I suppose you could call it alternative healing, and I thought I'd give it a try. I've had a session with her before and it worked wonders, and so I've had another session today. She did a little bit of work on my leg, which actually does feel a little bit better, although obviously I'm still creaky. But the main thing was with my mind and my perspectives. Now, I've been having therapy for the past 12 weeks, and what my therapist has done has been helpful in some respects. There's certainly practical advice there, and I even said to my friend, you know, don't take this the wrong way, but what they're talking about is more practical advice and things, or more realistic. And it sounded awful, and I hated saying it because, you know, my friend was dealing more with, I suppose you could call it soul healing, I guess. And the thing is it might seem like nonsense, and I suppose depending on what faith you belong to, you could argue that it is a load of nonsense. But it's the same as any kind of therapies, that you can take out of it what you want. So if you just sit there and say it's all a load of nonsense, then obviously that's what you'll get from it. However, there were certain things in there that I could relate to and that were practical enough for me to actually take some kind of positive from. So I came out of the session feeling a little bit rough, because there was a lot of digging, and she tried something, I think it was called sound therapy, which was a bit strange, but it's definitely, I felt better this afternoon, much better than I have the last 3 days. And while I'm not looking forward to going in tomorrow, I'm certainly not terrified. Now, last night when I came home, I was exhausted, I was miserable, and I was in a bit of a state. But today, I don't think it's simply because I haven't been there. I just think it's because this session has helped, and it's helped me come up with a few realisations. A couple of the most helpful ones now is about criticism. Now, obviously, I talk about my biggest fan on YouTube, who seems to have got the hint that I don't really want to hear from them anymore. And I said that I followed some of their advice, but not all of it, and they got a bit miffed at it. And she said that's absolutely fine, and you know, you do need to cut out the things that are damaging. And even if people do mean well sometimes, they don't realise they're doing more damage than good. So I agreed with her on that one, because that was exactly what I'd said as well, is that I'm fairly sure they weren't trying to rip me apart, but that's what they were doing, even though I told them that. So there was that, and then there was a lot of confidence building odds and ends, and basically it was just ways for me to, without sounding awful, love myself again. Keep your mind out the gutter. But because obviously it's with me, it's self-confidence and self-esteem that I really struggle with. Train of thought's gone. Yeah, that's it. She gave me some pointers, and the one that's stuck with me, which I thought was really clever, about caring for your inner child, so to speak. And basically, it's like, imagine that you're looking after a baby. So hopefully, if you had a baby, you wouldn't go throwing it around the room and what have you. And you need to treat yourself with that kind of same perspective. Like, if I'm going to throw myself around the room, like mentally, give myself a battering mentally, then I'm not going to feel great, and I have to, be more gentle with myself. If you've got a baby, you're not going to ram McDonald's in its face. You're going to feed it properly. You're going to look after it. And I thought that was really smart, and it's something that I'll be adopting, I think. And she also made a good comment about these videos. Now, I said I'm going to keep this one short this week, because it's just basically a reflection and an update of how things are. But with my biggest fan, the misconception, or with other people in fact, the misconception seems to be that because I'm doing these videos, it means that I've got confidence in myself. and belief. And and if I'm honest, that couldn't be further from the truth. I do these videos for two reasons, but predominantly I do them because it's therapeutic to me. What I get out of this is I get to voice my struggles and my perspectives, and also I get to give people advice and practical advice that people have told me. So on one hand I'm getting my bad out, and I'm also contributing good to other people. That's why I do these. I don't do these because I'm claiming that I'm right about everything and that I am God's gift to mental health. No, that is not the case at all. If you asked me to do this in front of a room full of people, I would be screwed. I would not have a chance. I would probably end up curled in the fetal position on the floor. But because I'm only talking to my phone, or as it is my own reflection, so to speak, then that's fine. I can do that. Because it doesn't feel like I'm speaking to anybody. And obviously I can watch the videos back and it's me giving advice to myself. The fact that other people get things from it as well is a massive added bonus. So don't for a second think that I'm so arrogant that I think I know everything and that I'm an expert. I'm not. I'm still learning. I'm always learning. My depression and anxiety are causing me focus and memory problems, but where I can, I am always trying to pick up new techniques with my mind. So, disclaimer: I don't I don't think anything of myself. I remember somebody at work said it once as well when I was training people, and they thought because I looked confident, it's like, oh, he thinks a lot of himself, and someone had to put them right. And it's like, he doesn't. I'm just good at the mask sometimes. So I'll finish on this point. Something else that they told me, that my friend told me, that I thought was interesting, and you can read into this what you like. I know I've heard several versions of it. In fact, two things here. So there's three versions of you. There is your shadow, which is like the bits that you don't like about yourself. There's your true self, which is what's actually inside. And then there's your mask. She used different definitions, I think, but that's pretty much what she said. And your mask is obviously what you show the world. And the thing is, you need to balance the three. You can't just have one of them. If you become the mask, then you lose yourself. Because at that point, you're doing everything to please everyone else, and you lose you. And that's never good, because you're never going to be happy if you're not you. You can appear happy with your mask on, but if you're not yourself, then it's not going to work. Obviously, your true self is the one that you want to be, or you aspire to be, and it's what exists already. So that's like your main point. And then your shadow, as I said, is the bit you don't like, but you need a combination of all three in order to be happy and be stable. Right now, I'm more shadow than anything, so I'm working on readdressing that balance. And the other thing I wanted to say real quick was a case of not fitting in socially, or in work or whatever. And we discussed a couple of things, and I summarised it and said, so it's basically like trying to fit a square peg through a round hole. And she said, yeah, okay, so which one are you? And I was like, well, I'd say I'm the peg, because obviously you can adjust the peg to the right shape to fit through the hole, but you can't change the hole. And then something pinged, literally pinged, as she said, why can't you change the hole? And I was like, oh yeah. And basically it's a case of giving yourself the tools to be able to change the whole, which I would interpret as your life. Change what's going on in your life to fit you better, not necessarily changing you to fit life. It's easier said than done, I know, but it certainly got my mind whirring, and I was like, point, you know, if you don't fit in. I mean, in her case, she used to do office jobs, and she didn't really discovered she didn't fit in, and it didn't make her happy. So she now does what she does now, and she is thriving, absolutely thriving. And it just got me thinking. So maybe it's time to. Maybe I can adjust both and make a triangle shape or something, you know. So if I'm a square peg trying to get through a round hole, maybe I can get the tools out and chip both of them into a triangular shape, and then we match, something like that. Because I'm not going to just change one of those things, but I think we both need it, both me and life. But anyway, that was just an overview of what's been going on in my life. I've already waffled on for longer than I wanted to, so really sorry about dragging it on. I will continue doing these videos even though I am back at work. I'll do them on an evening, so I might well look a little bit haggard, so apologies in advance for that one. But yeah, right now I'm okay, except for the rain and the fact I've got to get up in the morning, but you can't have everything, can you? Anyway, so as always, thanks ever so much for tuning in. Obviously, chuck me a like, and a subscription means the world to me. To see people actually subscribing to my channel and watching my videos is absolutely boosting me 100%. God knows I need it. But yeah, it's a foul world out there. It's absolutely horrible, and I mean, less said about the COVID and government situation, the better, I think. So, but I think we can get through this. I'm starting to feel more like I can. I'm starting to feel more confident that we can get through it. So hang in there. If you ever need anything mental health wise, you can get hold of me. I'm not difficult to get hold of. Comment on the videos if you want to, or if you've got me on Facebook, get me on Facebook or Instagram. I'm under the Lone Headbanger on Instagram. So by all means, drop me a message and I'll do my best for you. As I say, I am not a psychiatrist, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a soul healer, but I can at least give you my take, which I'd like to think is reasonably well educated considering what I've gone through. But anyway, so yeah, it's tough out there at the moment, as we all know, but stay strong, stay safe, and I will see you next week.